How to set up ORCID integration. ORCID, which stands for Open Researcher and Contributor ID, is a unique permanent identifier for researchers. A researcher's ORCID links all their research activity, even if they have changed their affiliated institution or even their name. It also distinguishes between researchers with the same name. If a researcher at your institution has an ORCID profile, they can add their ORCID to their Esploro profile. This will create a link from their Esploro public profile to their ORCID profile. If the researcher doesn't yet have an ORCID, they can create one at orcid.org/register. If you want to allow sharing of information between Esploro and ORCID, you can configure ORCID integration. This video will show you how. First of all, the parameter Esploro ORCID integration must be set to true. You can find this in Esploro configuration. In the General menu, click Institution Settings. Configuring the integration is also found in Esploro configuration. In the Repository menu, under Integrations, choose ORCID integration. Fill in each of the fields with the information for your institution. Client ID. This is provided to your institution by ORCID as part of your institution's ORCID membership. Client secret. This is also provided by ORCID to your institution. Together, the client ID and the client secret are the API credentials for your institution, so they function like a username and password. The organization ID is how your institution is identified in a public database, either Ringgold or GRID. Redirect URI. Once the ORCID activities have been completed, the server will return the user to this URL. You can leave this field blank, and the user will be returned to your institution's Esploro profile. Integration model. Choose direct. Target. Do you want this integration to send researchers to the real ORCID site? If so, choose production. If this is just for testing or practice, choose sandbox. This will send researchers to sandbox.orcid.org, a test site. Send employment. If you select yes, then for any researcher who connects their ORCID with their Esploro profile, their ORCID profile will be updated to list that the researcher is employed by your institution. In order to send employment, organization ID is mandatory. Remember to save. The employment information is updated with a daily job. You can find the job in Esploro configuration. Open the General menu under Institution Settings. Click Research Jobs Configuration. Find the job Update Researcher's ORCID and set it to active. This will send information daily from the researcher's Esploro profile to their ORCID profile if the researcher has established trust, which we will get to in a moment. The job can be monitored, like all jobs, in the Admin menu, Monitor Jobs. Click the Row Action menu for Job History. Errors that the API encountered can be seen by clicking the Row Action menu beside each instance of the job and viewing Report or Events. When the ORCID integration details have been filled in for the institution, each researcher will be able to consent to the sharing of their information between ORCID and Esploro. This is called establishing trust. When the researcher edits their Esploro profile, there is a section called Global IDs. They will see the option to register or connect your ORCID ID. Clicking this takes them to orcid.org. If the researcher already has an ORCID, they should click Sign In. If not, they can create one easily by filling in their information. ORCID will suggest similar names that already have an ORCID to prevent researchers from creating a second one. For visibility settings, we recommend choosing Everyone. One of the benefits of having an ORCID profile is so that it can be viewed by anyone who searches for this researcher. They will need to check both boxes under Terms of Use. This is the screen where the researcher establishes trust between Esploro and ORCID. This grants permission to Esploro to view and to update the researcher's information in their ORCID profile. To grant this permission, the researcher clicks Authorize Access. An Esploro administrator can see if a researcher has authorized ORCID integration by opening their researcher details and checking the side panel. ORCID status active shows that the researcher has authorized the integration. That's how to set up ORCID integration.